What is your American dream?
I'm from the Philippines. My American dream is to have a job wherein I can help people to achieve their dreams, which is the most important thing for me.
I'm American. I was born in New York, and my American dream is to constantly learn and grow and use whatever God's given me to help as many people as I can.
I'm from Belgium, and my American dream is to bring laughter and joy into people's lives through comedy.
My family background is West Indian with roots in Curacao, Guyana, and Puerto Rico. My American dream is to live in a country where everybody loves and respects one another.
My background is Irish and African American. My American dream would be to make enough to live a happy and fulfilling life.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Well, Spar and Bernstein has been nothing but great to me throughout my trials. I mean, it's 5 years into this car accident, and they never gave up on me, never. And in everything, they fought for me, and I am so proud to tell everyone, don't even wink for a moment. It's you, Spar and Bernstein. My lawyer here, Mr. Barack, has been a cage animal. He wanted to go on trial, but thank God we settled out of court, and it was something that I'm very, very happy about. So everyone, I'm telling you, I'm not just making stories up. You have to use this law firm. Spar and Bernstein is the best, worldwide best.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's us again.
Finally, we get the show started.
Finally, the Brad and Squeeze show starts.
Finally, the Brad and Squeeze show starts.
93.5 FM and Facebook. Yes, I'm putting my thingamajig in my ear.
What I've learned,
Alabama came up.
The control room literally takes me.
Literally. Yeah.
There's a literal interpretation of my literal commandments.
Yes, exactly.
So, congratulations to Alabama. We have learned that there's actually human beings who live there. Right? And Roy Moore, the pedophile, anti-Semitic, racist, bigoted, homophobic.
Did he concede yet?
He has not conceded yet, but he has lost the race in Alabama to Doug Jones by 1.7%, which is the same 1.7% of people who did write-in ballots. So
1.7%.
Yes, and the Donald Trump, after endorsing Roy Moore, has come out this morning and said, I knew I was going to lose. Crazy. I knew he was going to lose. The deck was stacked against him, he said this morning. Said, why'd you endorse him? Since when does Donald Trump endorse losers?
Oh, man.
Right? So anyway, thank God Alabama has some human beings who live there. Mm-hmm. He won the black vote, obviously.
Right.
And he won the urban educated vote, which goes to show you how it goes to show you how, if the less educated, unfortunately, can obviously be swayed to believe more things than, quote unquote, hashtag fake news stuff.
Huntsville is one of the most educated communities. You know that, right?
I did not know that. Yes. I don't know actually anything about. There he is. That was Doug Jones. He was also a former. There he is up again, and he was a former prosecutor. And that's his real. He was not expected.
But he was so happy last night. He said the word ass in his speech.
Did he really? Oh, I didn't see the speech. Talking about Roy Moore was an ass?
No, he was saying, he's talking. It was referring to himself in a good way.
Oh, okay. So it could have a lot of significant. Why this is so important is one, that this is the first time in an election that I've seen where an accused molester, because the only other was Donald Trump and he became president,
right,
that the electorate actually cared. And number two, this is very important in the sense that that now the Republican majority in the Senate is only one. Now the key question is will he be sworn in before they have a tax vote? Will the taxes be cut for the rich who live in the Midwest, and the taxes go up for everybody who lives in the Northeast and California, or will Doug Jones get in there to stop it?
By the way, a lot of people do not know why there was an election in Alabama.
Yes.
You want to tell them why?
Do you know why?
I know why.
Okay, why don't you tell them?
Because of Jeff Sessions.
Jeff Sessions' vacant seat. He became the U.S. Attorney General.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So that's the reason why.
And that's why. And now, I don't know when, this is only for the vacant seat. I don't know how many more years left of the seat. It could be 2 or 3 or 4 years left. Right. And then there's going to be another election, but it's going to be less than 6 years. By the way, there's only, apparently, Squeeze, there is only one Jewish person who had an unhappy Hanukkah last night, and that was Roy Moore's Jewish attorney.
You're terrible, man.
He had a very unhappy Hanukkah.
You're terrible.
Yeah,
man.
isn't that terrible? Right? I don't know if anybody saw, but Roy Moore's wife, this racist guy says, "Of course we're not anti-Semitic. Our attorney's Jewish."
Idiots. Anyway, 1-800-529-5465. We're going to have a good show this morning, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing that's in the news before Brad gets to is that it's 20 degrees outside. Right here in Manhattan, it's 20 degrees. Freezing my you-know-what off all the way here. It was no joke. It was
That's
brick.
Right. Squeeze came in and he said he felt like one of those guys in the Jamaican bobsled movie.
Yep.
Right? What was that movie? Where they put the Cool Runnings, where they put the guys in the freezer.
Yes.
Right? To get used to the cold.
Yep. Cool Runnings.
Yes. So anyway, good morning, Malia Loban Martin. She is the first person to say good morning to us. She said good morning to Kim, not even to us.
Good morning to all the people who have shared the page. By the way, folks, we want to get to 100 shares or more today. Let's see if the Brad Squad or Team Squeeze can get us there. All right? I am already sharing, so I want everybody to share. So if you see my eyes down, that's what I'm doing. I like the fact that everybody out there loves this show, and the show is growing tremendously. Also, do remember to tell people to like the page, follow the page. It's called the Brad and Squeeze page. All right. If you go facebook.com, Brad and Squeeze, you'll find it.
There's millions of people out there who need immigration help.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of It is just a matter of letting them know that this show, where you can actually get really good, solid advice, exists. And good morning to Casmita Ford. Good morning, Denise. Jeff Bossi, good morning.
Hold on, it's 28 degrees in Georgia?
It is 28 degrees in Georgia. Natalie McLean, good morning. Carol Anderson, the Tiger, she asked everybody to share.
Warm us up, folks.
Nadisha Gooden. Dougie Jones has won.
Dougie Fresh?
Dougie Fresh. And Simona, and she's very happy. Thank God for that, and I am happy too. Damian Walker, good morning. Rita Ritt, good morning. Malia, we already said good morning to her. And Most Blessed Diane, Anne Marie, Pauline Williams, Simona Davis, the entire Brad Squad and Team Squeeze, good morning. Please share with your friends and family. Before we have Gregory from Pensacola, Florida, and June from Georgia on hold right now. We're going to get to their immigration questions in about 2 or 3 minutes. But if you call right now at 1-800-529-5465, we will also be getting to your questions as well. 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And here's a funny story, Squeeze.
Let me know the funny story, Brad.
That made me laugh.
And what's the funny story that made you laugh?
The entire Trump family absentee ballot for the New York mayoral race held on November 7th. Every last one of their ballots was disqualified because they did not fill out their ballot properly.
And why wouldn't they have filled out their ballot?
Because they maybe they don't like to follow directions and rules. Okay, maybe they just think the rules don't apply to them. They don't have to read how to do it. I'm Trump, I'll do it any way I want. Which kind of is basically his personality and the entire Trump personality. There it is, the entire Trump family, all of them, from Tiffany, Jared, Ivanka, Melania, Donald Jr.
Well, not the
Donald Jr., you know what he won? You know what he won? Know what he won?
What?
The Lucky Sperm Club. Don Jr. won the Lucky Sperm Club, as well as Eric as well. So they were all...
What's the Lucky Sperm Club?
Oh, you know exactly what the Lucky Sperm Club is. So they were all... You know exactly what it is. You got... I got 2 kids that won it. You got 6 kids that won it. So, officials at the City Board of Elections said the president signed and dated an absentee ballot along with an application on October 19th, checking a box that said he would be absent from the city on Election Day. First Lady Melania Trump did the same, submitting a handwritten form that had everything in capital letters. Melania obviously does not know how to write other than in block capital letters. The First Lady did not sign the envelope as required by the Board of Education, so nobody knows exactly who filled this one out. Trump's daughter Ivanka's ballot was filled out correctly, but she didn't mail it until Election Day. She fell asleep on it. Her husband Jared Kushner never mailed it back at all, and the official said the president's ballot was fine, but that was before the Daily News pointed out to an official that the date of birth on his application was a full month off. Donald Trump did not remember his correct birthday when he filled it out. Trump was born, who's 71 years old, I didn't even know this, was born June 14th, 1946. That's terrible, because that is also June 14th is Gabby's birthday. I did not know that she shared Donald Trump's birthday. That's a bad sign for Gabby.
You forever remember.
Yes, but his ballot application lists his birthday as July, not knowing his birthday. So the entire Trump family disqualified from voting in New York City. By the way, you can go to Saudi Arabia now and watch a movie.
Finally,
after 35 years, they put the first movie in.
First movie theater in Saudi Arabia in 35 years. So there they are watching movies in Saudi Arabia. They're still covered, but at least they are watching movies now. So all the women still have to cover their faces.
They still have to cover their faces, but at least they can go out and watch a movie. It's getting a little, I guess the ice doesn't melt all in one day, but certainly they are, turning a corner and coming a little more into modernity. So I'm happy that they have some entertainment in Saudi Arabia other than listening to a sermon. Because that's basically their only entertainment, was listening to sermons.
Right.
And they are letting women drive as well, according to Jill.
But they have a woman in Saudi Arabia that flies an aircraft.
An airplane.
Yeah.
There's one.
Yeah. I know. There's one that
flies. They need to have it for everybody, not just like the one person. And finally, before we get to our calls at 1-800-529-5465. And I do ask everybody to please share. Take out your thumb right now. Go to the little arrow and put it on your timeline. Share, please, because I see that we have not had many shares so far.
Right.
So please share this with your friends and family, because we are going to be answering your immigration questions in the next 60 seconds or so. And the telephone number to call is 1-800-529-5465. And by the way, Squeeze, finally, before we move on to the immigration segment, a former Facebook executive, he has sworn off social media. I don't know if I should be telling everybody that, because then we will have nobody watching us. I'm not sure if this is the smartest thing for the Brad and Squeeze show, the smartest story. But this is the news. This is the news. We say the news that helps us. There he is. While Facebook continued to expand to every corner of the internet, former employees are expressing the dangers of it. Former Facebook vice president of user growth. He was in charge of user growth.
Yeah.
Something we need here, user growth.
User growth.
Yes. And his name is Chamath Palihapitiya, if I got that correct.
I wonder if he wants a job.
Yeah, he said that social media is eroding the core foundations of how people behave, and that he feels tremendous guilt about creating tools that are ripping apart the social fabric. Is Facebook, and specifically the Brad and Squeeze show, ripping apart social fabric? Squeeze.
I think
now this is Squeeze's Squeeze play of the day. His commentary on Facebook ripping apart the social fabric of society. Squeeze, take it away.
I do not believe
that
the Brad and Squeeze show
is
ripping apart. I think it's actually helping.
You think it's helping?
But I just like everything else, there's yin and yang. There's good and bad. There's true and false. There are Boolean values in everything. You understand what I'm saying? Everything you do. So I understand where he's coming from, but there's also a positive side to the equation.
Well, this is what he says, and then I'm going to let you comment.
Yeah.
Okay. He says, you don't realize it, but you're being programmed.
Of course.
Okay. But now you have to decide how much you're willing to give up and how much of your intellectual independence do you want. Sean Parker, Facebook's founding president, spoke also about the way the platform exploits human psychology. And so one of the founders has come out against Facebook, as well as the guy who's in charge of user growth. Palapipa agreed, saying, in the back, deep recesses of our minds, this is something bad. Squeeze.
I'm listening.
That's it. That's all I got. Is it bad or is it good, Squeeze? And this is the man who used to work at Facebook. Venetia Taylor says he's so right about that. Facebook Live is a mess. It started to bring out the worst in people. Thank you very much. But are we helping people?
But at the same time, this is what like I said, there are two sides to it. Well, at the same time, it also helps people.
Right. Aren't we helping people here?
Yes.
Aren't we entertaining people here?
But it's also bad and it's also good. So that's the reason I'm saying there are two sides.
But you know what? Everybody, in one sense, it's very funny.
Yeah.
Here's Nadisha Gooden. She says, share, please. She wants everybody to watch this. And then in the next sentence, she says, Facebook is manipulating everybody.
That's a true oxymoron.
A true oxymoron. So, I don't know. You know what I think?
What do you think?
I think what the problem is that just like anything else in life, I'll give you my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm. What's your 2 cents, Brad?
All right. Alcohol can rip apart the social fabric of society. Drugs can. Violence can. Facebook and social media is another platform that can do it. It's all about people's addictions.
And it's about, about choices.
So
too.
everything is good in moderation. Alcohol is fun in moderation. Okay, people can argue back and forth about marijuana. Some say yes, some say no, but that's your own personal choice. Some people say in moderation it's okay. Some people say, you know what, watching violence on TV in moderation is okay. Pornography in moderation is okay. Everything is okay, and I'm not saying it is okay. I'm just saying
not everything, most things. Most
things are okay, and even eating a hamburger is good in moderation. You don't want to eat a hamburger every day. So I think my opinion is Facebook, social media, people get addicted to it, and then once you become addicted to it, that becomes your reality instead of the reality around you, and you start just staring at your phone all day like a zombie. That's when you get programmed by what you're reading and what you're looking at. So I think it's more of an addiction issue than it's an actual Facebook issue. That's my 2 cents, Squeeze.
I believe it.
You believe that?
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
All right. So we already had one person hang up.
We're all human beings, and I think we should choose carefully as to what we do with our time and life here in this God-given world. Okay, and what we're doing with it.
And by the way, Natalie McClain is like the smartest person I've ever seen of all the Brad Squad. Because as I'm saying this,
you just dissed everyone on the Brad Squad.
No, I'm not dissing anybody else.
You just dissed everybody. By the way, the people who are dissed on the Brad Squad, you cannot come over to Team Squeeze. Brad just dissed everybody.
I didn't diss everybody. I'm just saying she's the only one. As I said that, it goes, I totally agree with Bradford.
So that makes her the smartest.
He's the only
Everybody else, come to Team Squeeze. I'll take you.
Oh, all right? Denise also great because she also agrees with me completely. But Anne Marie, she disagrees because she uses Facebook to encourage and pray for others. I'm a conscious and sober person. It doesn't control or change me in a negative way. That's correct. That is correct, Anne Marie. Okay? I'm not saying every person becomes addicted to it. But there are people, and there's a large majority, I'm not saying every human being, there's lots of people who are able to control what they do and what they think and how they feel, and there's other people who become addicted to it and just stare at it almost zombie-like, and this becomes their reality, and once your reality becomes social media instead of the outside world, to me that's an addiction. I'm not saying every person's like that, but many are.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents.
I got your 2
And
cents.
Detria Brissett says, I agree. Correct, Mr. Bernstein. Deborah Gale, lots of smart people now in the Brad Squad. Lots of smart people. All right, let's go to immigration.
All right, let's go do immigration. This is where, of course, everybody share on the Facebook page. So now that Brad has told everybody to get off of Facebook.
Get off of Facebook. I just told everybody you're addicted to Facebook.
It's going to be our highest rated show.
The numbers are going down as we speak.
Yeah.
All right, this is Julie in Atlanta.
Julie in Atlanta, Georgia. How are you? 28 degrees out there, right?
I don't know. Is it 28 degrees in Atlanta, Georgia right now?
No, it's 48 degrees.
48.
48. Oh, that's not so bad.
That's not so bad. Someone said it was 28, and well,
all right. That is called hashtag fake news.
Yeah, it depends on where in Georgia. Yeah.
Fake weather news hashtag. We should start a new one. Fake weather news. Just start saying, yeah, it's 80 degrees in New York. Fake weather news. Okay, what's going on, Julie?
Yes. We have for affidavit of support. No, you don't have sufficient income, but he's using assets, right? No, he's using a property that he has.
It's very rare that you can use an asset and demonstrate that asset for the affidavit of support. I'll tell you why. Because you have to document the value of that asset. So let's say you take your property, for example. You have to go down to the assessor's office. They assess, the property for tax purposes. Whatever the assessor values your property at, that's the value that the government's going to go by. So you have to go get something official from the tax assessor, what they're valuing your property at for tax purposes. Then you have to get something from your mortgage company, what your equity, how much money you owe in your mortgage. So let's say, for example, okay, they assess your house at $450,000, and that's what the tax assessor says. And you say, oh, that's crazy. My house is worth $800,000 because that's the mortgage based. It's not going to be based on what the mortgage said. It's going to be based on what the tax assessor says. Right. Okay. And now you think you took out, a mortgage, 50%, equity in your house. But now, because you have a $400,000 mortgage on your house, but really between the tax assessor and the mortgage, there's $50,000 in equity. Now you get to take of that 50. I'm just making up math. You get to take of that equity, you get to take 20% of that and put it towards your poverty guidelines. So for example, 20% of $50,000 is squeezed $10,000, correct? So now you get to add $10,000 onto your income. This guy has more than $10,000. This dude right here. This is the guy from Facebook. We're having lots of issues here.
What is he doing up there?
I don't know what he's doing up there, and we're not talking to him right now. But there he is, and we can't seem to get him off. But this is what happens sometimes, I guess, on the Brad Squeeze show.
But anyway, let's get back to the question.
So in any event, so now you get to add $10,000 onto his taxes. If his taxes are $15,000 and you have $10,000, so now it's $25,000, for example. It is very, very difficult. I'm not saying impossible, but very, very difficult to use equity in a home or assets towards the poverty guidelines. It is so much simpler, easier. The immigration officers just get it. There's less to think about just using the income on your tax returns. And if the income is not enough, I always tell everybody, just find somebody else to do it for you. It's so much easier.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
But they also need appraisal if you're doing the assets?
No, the appraisal is going to come from the tax assessor. Okay? Because who is this?
From the tax?
Yeah, in other words, let's say you get an appraisal. Okay? That appraisal is absolutely worthless to the U.S. government. How do they know who this person is? How do they determine the value of your house or anything else? So the only way that they can actually determine the value of your house is this is what the local government says your house is worth.
Okay.
All right? Straightforward. All right?
1-800-529-5465.
She hung up. She didn't like any of that. Yeah. She hung the phone up.
Once again, this is the Brad and Squeeze Show. We're answering immigration questions. Do you have any? Remember to post and put them actually also on our social media page, Brad and Squeeze. Okay, and once you're there, do remember to share it on your timeline and also share it with your friends' timelines also. 1-800-529-5465. We're going to be going to the social media check-in segment, which
we have absolutely no calls right now.
It's freezing today, dude.
Is it freezing? Is that why there's nobody has an immigration?
Everything is going to be low today. It's freezing.
Okay.
Whenever it's
right. We're live on 93.5 FM.
Yes, we are.
We are live on Facebook.
Right.
And apparently nobody has any immigration questions.
Maybe not. You know. 1-800-529-5465. Give us a call right now. But maybe we should do the social media check-in.
Let's do our social media check-in.
Which our partners, of course, have brought it to us. Those are people over at USA Credit Repair.
Yes.
They'd like to bring in the social media check-in.
All right, so why don't you talk about USA Credit Repair?
I just did.
Okay, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. Quick.
Okay, brought to you by USA Credit Repair.
Inc.com. They're the ones who are actually doing.
Wouldn't it be great if the social media check-in, all of a sudden, it's that dude from Facebook?
The user.
The user. All right, the guy who says, get off of Facebook.
I wonder what he's going to do now.
Yeah, he's kind of talked himself out of working anywhere in tech.
I'm just like, no, maybe he just made enough money.
Probably just made enough money.
Now
I'm just gonna.
If he had not made enough money, he would not
have been saying that, right?
Exactly.
And he wouldn't feel so guilty anymore.
Exactly.
Spending his money. If you feel so guilty, why don't you donate it to help people not be addicted to social media? Start a group. That's the problem. All right,
Brad. Some things are inevitable. Completely. And you want to know what? Social media happens to be just about one of them. So anyone who says that they want to stay off of social media, I promise you sooner or later you're going to have to get on it, no matter what you think. I've heard people say years ago, I will never use a cell phone.
Yeah.
I've heard people, remember back in the days, oh, email, it's just a fad. It's just a phase.
Yeah, I don't need email.
You're going to go through that.
Yeah, I don't need email.
Yeah, I don't need email.
And by the way, email was a phase because you remember text.
Everybody text.
Yeah, it's text and instant messaging. So, it was a phase. But all right, let's go to Kim Mora, social media queen, in our social media room. Let's see. Hello. All right, what do you got for immigration today?
Okay, Lee on Facebook wants to know, can you travel out of the country if your domestic case was dismissed?
Yes, as long as it was definitely dismissed. Domestic violence case, I assume.
Okay. Princess would like to know, I want to know if you filed for your husband's child, would that child be a citizen under you?
If you file for your husband's child, no, you can't derive citizenship through a step-parent relationship. They would get a green card, but you can't derive it through the step-parent relationship.
Okay. Isha would like to know, can a child file a petition for a mother and stepfather if the mother is currently in the U.S. and the stepfather is in Antigua?
Yes.
Damien has a little bit of a long question. He recently got his green card back. He renewed it. He's about to do his citizenship, and he just did his fingerprints 2 years ago. He's lived here for more than 10 years, but has a misdemeanor Class B on his record. Every time he's traveled to Jamaica and come back, they have held him at the airport and then let him go. He's going to see his fiance for Christmas. Is it possible that they could deport him or stop him from entering the country?
B felony? What Class B felony or misdemeanor?
A misdemeanor.
What
misdemeanor
was it for?
Class.
What was it for?
He does not say that.
It depends what it was for and what state it was in. You gave a whole long story but didn't give me the information that I need. What were you convicted of?
That's needed.
So, Damien, we need what you were convicted of and where you were convicted.
Where you were convicted and when.
Okay.
Okay, those are always the questions we need to answer. What were you convicted of, in what state, and when did it happen? And when did you get your green card, and when did you first start living in America? Those are the 5 things that I need to tell you in order to answer whether you're free to travel or not. Let's go through it again. So if you want to leave your question, you are going to give this information. When did you come to America? When did you get your green card? What were you arrested for and convicted of? Then I need to know if it was a B misdemeanor, an A. What was your sentence? So your sentence would be, it was a B misdemeanor, an A misdemeanor, no jail time, whatever it was, probation, fine. And when did this all happen? And in what state? So it's actually 7 things. If I have all of that information, I can tell you point blank right here whether to travel or not.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Moving right along.
Hector has a bit, I think it's more of a theoretical question.
Theoretical.
Can you Could you guys talk more about the Adam Walsh law with immigration? I've heard of people getting caught up for stuff they did as teenagers and end up having to pay the price years later, even if they weren't convicted but had to register as a sex offender while on probation.
If you are, well, first of all, if you're on probation, you were convicted. Number two, you wouldn't be registering as a sex offender unless you were convicted of something. Number three, the Adam Walsh waiver was put in place to protect. It doesn't protect. I'm telling you what the purpose was.
Right.
Okay. The purpose was to protect immigrants from living with a sex offender, because the belief is that if you're a sex offender and you're on the sex offender registered list, that you are going to continue to be a sex offender in the future. And so the Adam Walsh waiver, if you are on the sex offender list, is that that's the U.S. citizen has to make a waiver and prove to the Immigration Service that that this person is absolutely safe to live with the sex offender. Now, there is no way in the world that no matter what expert, psychiatrist, affidavits, or anything else that you can show, that anyone can say to a 100% degree certainty that somebody is safe living in a house with somebody else. They can say, you know, this person hasn't had a issue in 22 years. They're in therapy. I've met with them. It is extraordinarily unlikely that anything would happen. That's the best you would ever get anybody to say. And that in of itself is not enough to get an Adam Walsh waiver under the law. So you end up having to sue the government. So people who are on the sex offender list, just by operation of the way they wrote the law and the way that the Immigration Service looks at the law, are really basically prevented from filing for their spouses.
Right.
Now what happens is this. They're not protecting anybody because the spouse is married to them. They're still living in the same house for years and years and years, trying to get the spouse a green card, and the spouse can't get a green card, yet they're still living together. And nothing's happened. So the only thing they're doing is basically punishing the immigrant from being able to become legal and live with a person that they want to live with. If the immigrant is aware that this person that they married is a sex offender, that he or she has had this conviction in the past, and, you know, quite frankly, if that's who they fall in love with, and that's, you know, and obviously there's always a risk, I assume. There's a risk in marrying anybody. You don't know who anybody is. You know, just because they had this bomber who bombed the train station Times Square, never did anything before in his entire life. He wasn't even on anybody's watch list, radar. So anybody's capable of anything at any time, unfortunately, and that's sad. But certainly, if they're willing to take that risk and they're knowledgeable and they know that this person's a sex offender and they still want to be married and live with them, what's it to the U.S. government? To me.
That makes sense.
So there is my take on the Adam Walsh waiver.
Okay.
Now, it's a different story. It's a different story because I just want to say this. There's sometimes where spouses say, I didn't know. So yes, I think part of the process should be that the spouse should be made aware, you know, just for those spouses who may not have known about this person's past, by all means. But, you know, to show that it's absolutely almost a virtual impossibility that anything bad will happen to them, nobody can ever prove that. It's impossible to prove. How could a psychiatrist get on the stand and say, absolutely, it is completely safe for this person to live there? They can't. They could just say it is highly unlikely that anything happened. They haven't done anything in 22 years.
Right. That makes sense.
1-800-529-5465, The Brad and Squeeze Show. Heating up.
Heating up.
Heating up.
It is getting hot in here.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off your clothes, Brad.
No.
There it is.
But that's you know when Squeeze and I have been doing the radio show way too long that we both started singing the same song at the same time.
Absolutely. That is 20 years.
Yes.
Enough.
That is right. It's not like Squeeze and I, you know, came on the show and said, okay, at the 9:35 mark, we're going to start singing on cue. It's getting hot in here. That never happened.
Yeah, a lot of things never
I
happen.
don't know. You guys coordinate pretty well.
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
sure that you go down that way. Damien does have a follow-up. He said he came in 1989 to New York. He lives in New York. The crime happened 20 years ago. It was a knife that he got a hold of. Doesn't say exactly what happened with the knife. He didn't do any jail time. He was just held for 3 days and didn't get a jail sentence, didn't get a sentence. And everything happened in New York.
In 1989, B misdemeanor, he should be okay to travel.
Okay.
But because a knife is not a deportable offense, but they don't know this at the airport. That's why they stop you all the time. Okay,
Right.
so you're best off. Why don't you just become a citizen?
I was just about to say.
All right, Kim. We have to move forward here. We
Yeah.
have people on hold.
Finally.
We have Mohammed and Kim hopefully standing by who
Okay.
want to talk about their American Dream
we're gonna
story.
make this quick.
So let's
Yeah.
go to Suzanne in Queens. We're going to come back hopefully with some more rapid fire towards the end of the show. Let's go to Suzanne in Queens. Suzanne.
How are
Hello,
you?
good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Suzanne. You're freezing out there, or what?
I'm an immigrant and I work with some people for 8 months and they just fire me like that and don't want to pay me. So I would like to know the process.
They don't want to
can I
pay
do?
you?
No.
The process is sue them. Hold on 1 second, okay? There's no such thing as slavery or peonage. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to
Once again, the number is
Reese.
1-800-LAW-LINK.
Reese in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Yes, hi, hello.
How are you?
Hello there.
I am well. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Yes, I've been in the United States since 2007. I came in when I was 16 and 7 months pregnant.
Right.
And I went to my first immigration process in 2009. By that time, I was 18 and I already had my first child. I didn't go with a lawyer or anything of that matter, but like I was the last person to be seen in the courtroom that day. The judge gave me two options. Do you want to stay or go? But I had a
This is
cousin
an
who didn't want
immigration
me to
judge you're
live with
talking
her.
about. You're talking about an immigration judge.
The court that I went to was in Newark, New Jersey, and the judge that I saw was Judge Alberta Rykoff.
Okay, so you're talking, again, the question was you're talking about an immigration judge, and the answer is yes, because I'm familiar. Okay.
Yes.
So now, so in 18, he said, go home or what?
No, I was 19 around the time. He was like, you have an option. Do you want to stay or go? But at the time, I was living with a cousin who didn't want me to stay with her anymore. So she told me to tell the judge I wanted to go since we've been trying to get me home since I got here in 2007. Because she couldn't take care of me and the baby anymore. She's like, tell them you want to go.
All right, hold on. First of all, you should have gotten a special juvenile immigrant. Number two, you should have applied for DACA. I don't know if you've done either one.
No, because they told me I'm not qualified. They would charge me with a list of charges that I did not aware that I was charged with fraud. I was charged with illegal entry.
All right, so you have a whole bunch of criminal.
Like,
you have a criminal record as well. So hold on 1 second. We're not gonna solve your problems in the next 30 seconds. Hold on 1 second. All right. Whole host of issues.
That's life.
That's life. All right.
1-800-529-5465.
So down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, lives Mohammed and Kim Saeed. And they moved to Baton Rouge from Cairo, Egypt 1 year and 3 months ago. And they are with us today because we wanted to find immigrants from all over the United States, from different parts of the world, to discuss their experiences moving to the United States to a vastly different culture and how it has been so far for them from the time they came here, because it was the first time they ever came to America. How are you guys?
Hey, how are you?
All right. Kim is obviously, Kim, well, I don't want to say obviously. Kim is the U.S. citizen, and Mohammed is from Cairo, Egypt, and the first time you ever came to the United States was 1 year and 3 months ago. Is that correct?
Well, we used to come to visit my in-laws every 2 years. That's correct. But this is my first year and a half of permanently staying in the United States.
And how'd you guys meet? On one of your visits? Is that how you guys met?
Oh, you want to say that part?
No, I went there to teach, and I was looking for a place to live, actually.
You went where to teach? In
his
Egypt?
Dad was, yeah. I went to teach, and his dad was a real estate agent, but his dad couldn't speak very good English, so his dad brought him to help with translation.
Right.
And then he just kind of became my knight in shining armor. He just helped with everything, and so I couldn't resist it.
Oh, wonderful! And so you lived in Cairo for how long?
We lived in Cairo for about 10 years.
10 years. So what made you decide now to come to the United States after, I guess you started a life in Cairo, you were living in Cairo, Egypt. What decided or precipitated you to come to America now? You've been married or living together for a very long time.
Well, we have 3 kids, and they were born and raised in Cairo, but they are Americans too. So when we used to come and visit, they really love how is it like here, and we were planning in the future anyway that they will be coming here to continue their college education. So we kind of took the initiative a little bit early, so that's why we decided to actually move in so our kids can go to college here. And that's the main thing. Yeah.
And Squeeze, you
yeah, what is your religion, if you don't mind me asking?
I am Muslim, Sunni.
Have you run into any difficulties because you're Muslim and going through this process?
Do you mean coming into the country?
Coming into the country and being in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which probably is not a huge Muslim welcoming committee there waiting for you, right?
Right. I mean, coming into the country wasn't really a big problem. Just going through the process of, to get my green card, it wasn't really a big dilemma, because my case is a little bit easier. I mean, being married for long, I have 3 kids, and we have 3 kids in common. Our marriage is really stable for the past 12 years. So I don't think I really had much problems coming in. In the process of getting my green card, we faced a lot of difficulties still, because we were married 12 years overseas, and we had to actually try and prove that we were married for 12 years.
So what do you mean prove you were married? Don't you have a marriage certificate?
We do have a marriage certificate and birth certificates for the kids that was issued abroad from the United States Embassy and everything.
Right.
And we have all kind of a whole established file of life between us. But
they still put you through the ringer.
Kim, what kind of hoops did you have to jump through? Because you're a U.S. citizen. So what kind of hoops did you have to jump through in regards to what?
Well, the thing is, we were concerned because we have friends who also have gone through the process, and they haven't been married as long as us, but they have had to create whole photo albums and all these things. So the night before the green card interview, I was putting together tons of pictures. So when we got there, I had a whole stack of pictures. Burns, he's like, okay, I think 12 years and 3 kids. It's pretty obvious, that you guys have
at the front of the pyramids. Cool picture.
Yeah, that's us. Yeah.
So,
that's my parents.
What was the most difficult thing that you had to do to process to get the green card? If there was one thing you're like, oh my God, this was,
Yeah, I mean, the most difficult thing is because when we first moved to the U.S. in last June. We had bought a house and moved into it, and then it was flooded because there was a great flood here.
Right.
And then so we had to rebuild the house, and it took us So it took us about 6 months because we just moved into America for 1 month and a half. Me personally, I moved 1 month and a half, and everybody else. And then the house was flooded, so I had to start look for a job. I mean, I wasn't able to because I had to spend almost 6 months rebuilding the house one more time. So when we went to our green card interview, before we went, we had faced difficulties of proving our income because we are a family of 5, and the United States
with the affidavit of support issues, right? You had affidavit of support issues.
So we were basically in the eyes of the authorities under the poverty line.
Now, did you get a second affidavit of support from somebody else?
See, that's the case here. It was we should prove about $35,000 a year of income, yearly income.
Right, but it's hard to prove that because you're both living in Cairo.
Sorry, sir?
It's hard to prove it because you're both living in Cairo.
Yeah, so we didn't have any proof of income here in the United States because as we moved, we had spent we had just moved and we were flooded. So we had to spend 6-8 months rebuilding the house, and so we were not able to show that we have stable income of $35,000 to support
So what
the
did you
family
do?
of 5.
So what did you do?
So we had 2 options. Either like we get a sponsorship.
Right. So what was So what did you do?
No, we didn't do that actually. We because we have properties overseas.
You used your property. We had that question earlier, where you can get 20%. Use 20% of the value of your property.
And we own properties overseas, so we were able to show an estimate of how much they are and how easy they are to be liquidated into money.
Now we're running out of time, but I really want to get an idea of what was your welcome like when you came to America. Now you're married, you come from 2 different cultures, you have a green card. What was your welcome like in terms of you're an immigrant? What was your welcome like that basically, obviously, you come from 2 different cultures, yet you're married and you have this beautiful family together, and you didn't move to what it would be considered an area where lots of immigrants move to. You moved to Louisiana, which has its own racial profiling histories, going back hundreds and hundreds of years. So what was that whole experience like from all those different perspectives?
I mean, it was. I have to say, it was a little difficult. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, and it's still difficult. Like, there's a lot of difficulties I face on a daily basis. But I wouldn't say to the point that I am being, totally isolated from the society. I think for many reasons, probably I understand the whole thing about my. When you first meet with someone and say your name, you get that initial blockage, but right after that, when people get to know you, they're more welcoming, because right now I coach soccer, I volunteer to do that, so families I think trust me to have their kids with me, and I also coach
so gymnastics. You're initially profiled until they get to know you.
You know what I noticed?
Exactly.
Noticed, Mohammed and Squeeze, about immigrants generally, is that everybody says kick them the hell out of the country, except this guy. I know him. He's a really nice guy. So as soon as you start meeting people and realizing they're human beings, it's a different story.
Yeah.
So so you're having what's happening economically now with you? What's your American dream? Because we're running out of time.
Yeah, we're running out of time. Hopefully we can bring you back on the show again.
Yeah, but tell us what your American dream is. Tell us how you are doing economically now that you've been here a year. Is it everything you thought it was going to be? Is it different? Is it harder? Is it more easier? Is it difficult? Is it your expectations being met of what you thought life would be here?
Right. Expectations were not yet met, because it's totally different for any immigrant who comes it's really easy to make it here. It's really difficult and hard. You have to work really hard. You have to have specific skills. You have to be willing to actually develop your own skills, because what is here is not dollars growing on trees. People working hard. Absolutely. So some immigrants know that. Some immigrants think it's, I will come here and make a lot of money and go back home or so. It's not working this way. I'm very qualified. I taught for 12 years. I have a long experience of many things in sport and teaching and everything. And I still work on demand sometimes. I work on market economy, shared economy jobs. I work part-time jobs. I might have 3 or 4 jobs. And that's true. Yesterday I worked 14 hours in different 3 jobs, because that's how the job required me to do.
You sound like a Jamaican, man.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. I was about to say, the Egyptians and Jamaicans got something in common there.
The American dream is a beautiful dream. I have a beautiful house, beautiful family, nice car. I live in a very clean environment.
Don't forget your beautiful wife. You got to say that specifically,
Oh yeah, that's the only thing, that keeps me here and keeps everybody together. So I would have to say the only thing any immigrant come here, he must think twice about what kind of qualifications would I have to make me able to make it. Otherwise, I have to say that the system is really difficult. The system is really, if you are out of the system, you'll be crushed.
You can say
you have to be into the system, and you have to be really smart and wise while you're in the system to develop your own skills and make it. But the American dream is there. It's beautiful. It's nice.
It's within reach, but hard work.
Kim Saeed, wow, that's a great story. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to get people from different cultures, hear their story about coming to America. There's struggles and there's hope, and you got the love of each other, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us.
We do appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Guys.
All right, Kim and Saeed Mohammed.
Yep.
They met in Cairo 12 years ago. He just immigrated a year ago, and he has his ups and downs here. Yep. You know, that's America. You know, some people think the roads are paved with gold. They're paved, unfortunately, with hard work.
Many people think that.
Yeah, they're paved with hard work.
Yep.
All right. Do we want to go take one more quick call? Davia from York, Pennsylvania. Davia.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm not too good. Let me get straight to it. Yesterday was my interview at Philadelphia with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, when we went in and they asked for the ID, because we were living in New York before and we moved to Pennsylvania, we didn't have a Pennsylvania state ID. So I handed them my New York permit that I have.
A problem. That's a problem because you're saying your ID doesn't show you living where you claim you're supposed to be living. So now they question the whole marriage.
Right. So no, they question the marriage.
Yeah, they question the whole marriage because they say you're living in New York, you're not living in Pennsylvania. That's the first thing they'll do.
That is it.
All right. So you need help, and we're going to run out of time. But that's a big problem now. Okay, your ID has to match your address. Absolutely.
Right.
As soon as it doesn't match the address, your interview is going straight downhill. But we're running out of time. I would help you, but I think you're going to need a consultation anyway because we got about 30 seconds. Okay, Davia? Hold on.
All right. Once again, folks, this is the Brad and Squeak Show, and it was a good show.
Please tell us our partner.
I'll be very honest. Very honest. That was one of the. I like that interview. I mean, I finally got to put in 2 words, seeing that you were taking up all the time. But I finally got to put in 2 words. I really wanted to ask my own questions.
Good. I'm glad that you were able to join us in the interview.
But you want to know what, Brad? I love you. Your personality would. If your personality changed, I'd get off the show.
That's right.
No, I'm serious.
But we got to get out of here. See you at 12.
That's the reason why it's a Brad and Squeak Show.
See you at 12.
All right. Once again, great show. Let's just make this legal. See you at noon. And make sure you bring on your A game. The proceeding was informational only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easily remembered, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465.